Are we ready? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
This is an action entitled the State of Ohio Plaintiff versus Roger Dean Ward Defendant. It is case number 43, TRD 2304313 of the traffic docket, and it comes on for a hearing today, the 11th of October, 2023, on several defense motions. The defendant is present in court today without counsel. The State of Ohio is represented by Jordan Liddell, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, and ticket issuing officer, Sergeant Wilson, is also present in court. Several motions were filed by the defendant. These are scheduled for hearing today. One of these is a motion to dismiss. 4 of them are entitled first, second, third, and fourth motions to strike citation ticket number 2308 from the record. There is a motion to suppress all evidence obtained or intended for use at trial, and a motion for sanctions for fabricated documents. The defendant in this case is charged, the number is actually, the case number is followed by 3 letters, A, B, and C, so 3 separate charges. One is a charge of, this is A, I believe, 4507.35, which creates a duty to display license or furnish satisfactory proof of license upon demand. B is, I believe, 4510.1281, operating vehicle without a valid operator's license. And C, 4513.14, requiring 2 headlights to be displayed. The C charge is a minor misdemeanor. The other 2, as brought, are unclassified misdemeanors. There are a couple things the court would like to address before we begin taking evidence and/or argument concerning the motion to suppress. Is there physical evidence in this case? Is there any physical evidence or statements of the defendant that the state intends to use?
Your Honor, I do have, just for clarification purposes today, I do have the discovery ready for the defendant. I was going to do personal service today to the defendant as well, so I want to put that on the record as well, so I will be handing that over to him right now. I am also going to request a reciprocal discovery of the videos that were obtained from the defendant during the interaction. I believe that there was also a video. So I am going to be requesting that, but there are statements, there are, I believe, right, there were statements that were made, and
yes,
there were some statements that were made as part of that, and there is the citations that are provided as well too for the purposes of that.
Which discovery was requested by the defense?
That's correct. It was requested on the 25th of September. I did want to verify and make sure that personal service was given to the defendant just based on the fact of changing addresses, and I wanted to verify and make sure that it was in hand today.
All right. So are we ready for a motion hearing today, or do we need to have the discovery issue, the discovery provided, gone through before you just got it?
I'm ready for the motions hearing today.
Say it again.
I'm ready for the motions hearing today as far as the motion to strike the citation.
All right. Now there was some reciprocal discovery requested apparently today, which are copies of videos that they say that you took. So are those available to?
No, not today, Your Honor, and the copy took my phone, so, and it turned my video off, so.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
The officer when I tried the video, he took my phone and shut my video off.
Okay. So I'm not sure how much video there would be, if that's a correct statement there that he just said.
That's not correct statement.
That's not a correct statement from my understanding, Your Honor. After speaking with Sergeant Wilson, we will be requesting copies of those videos from the defendant.
All right. So there'll be approximately how many minutes of video that you requesting?
That would be up to the defendant. Those were on his personal cell phone, so I'm not sure how long of a video he does have.
So are those available then to give to the state?
No, Your Honor, not today.
I'm sorry,
Not today, no, Your Honor.
but they are available.
I tried what little bit it is, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, are we ready to do this to part of this today or any of it today or what?
Yeah, Your Honor, the state's ready if need be. We are ready.
And is the defense ready?
Yes.
All right. Now, the motions raise issues, due to the issues raised with the motions, and they have to do with the correct procedure under traffic rules. They don't actually cite, I don't think, traffic rules, but the court's aware of them, as the state is, I'm sure the defense may be too. But due to the issues raised here, the way the court wants this addressed is, I want the state to go forward today to tell me and present evidence about what the citations are, how they were served, and so forth, and then we'll decide. Then we'll let the defendant go forward and the state then can respond. One thing, too, on part of the file, is the court's understanding that the court's file here is an electronic file, but I've seen part of it in trying to prepare myself for this hearing. There appears to be something said here about a fictitious plate charge. Was that ever cited?
No.
Okay. Why does it appear here then? Why does it appear on this part of the sheriff's report, I guess? Jackson County Sheriff's Report. It says something about fictitious, without a valid license, and then it says fictitious plates, 45, 49, and 8.
Okay, so that's not correct.
Well, so for these reasons, that's one of the reasons I want the state to go forward and present what happened here and how it happened, and let me decide. Let me hear what the procedure was used and stop this defendant, and then he'll be able to go forward also, and I'll have all this under sworn testimony. Some of it was referred to at the arraignment time, but it wasn't done in testimonial form, so I'm not stating the procedure. You wish to call a witness?
Yes, Your Honor, the state will be calling Sergeant Jason Wilson.
I'm not sure what I would say. Is this the witness chair over here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's use it. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer unto God.
I do, Your Honor.
You see this? You may say.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just for the record, can you please state your name and business address?
Yes, Sergeant Jason Wilson, 350 14th Street, Jackson, Ohio,
And how long have you been with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office?
since 2016.
And just for purposes of clarification, when did you receive when did you attend the academy?
2011, 2012.
And do you apply the teaching or the exercises that you had in the academy to your routine practices on patrol?
I do.
And you came in contact with the defendant, Mr. Roger Ward, on or about September 9th, 2023, correct?
Yes.
And what occurred from the best of your recollection as to the citations?
So you want me to start from the traffic stop on? Or? Okay, so I was traveling south on Main Street, come up on State Route 32, observed a red Dodge truck coming northbound, turning left onto State Route 32 with one working headlight. Law requires two. I initiated a traffic stop on State Route 32 near Burlington Road. Walked up, made contact with the defendant, requested his driver's license, explained why I stopped him, who I was. Asked for a copy of his driver's license. He hands me a passport, U.S. government passport, tells me that's his ID, that's what he's given me. Asked again for a driver's license, told him he had to have a valid driver's license to drive in the state of Ohio. Again, told me that was his passport, that's what he was giving me. Asked for his social. He said, it's my passport, that's what I'm giving you. Or that's my ID, that's what I'm giving you. That's all you're getting. So at that point, I asked him to step out of the vehicle. He asked why. Told me he was found to provide a valid driver's license or valid ID. He said that's his government ID. It's a U.S. passport. I asked him if it had a date of birth on it. It did, in small print on near the bottom on the right. So I told him to have a seat back in the truck, and I was going to go try to run his identification through leads with his name and date of birth. Once I've done that, I think here. So as I was back in my cruiser doing that, there was 3 different Roger D. Wards that popped up with different addresses. So I still was not sure who I had. I requested Deputy Sizemore to assist me on the stop, and there were 2 troopers, Sergeant, I can't remember the 2, without going back, I can't remember who was on the stop, but they arrived on scene. Deputy Sizemore was familiar with the subject from prior dealings in Geigy County, and due to previous drug activity, I requested him to have his canine do a free air sniff while I was still attempting to find out who I had. Deputy Sizemore would come back, told me he had a positive indication. So I told him to go ahead and detain Mr. Ward. As he was walking back up to the car, I exited the car, exited my cruiser, went out and made contact. We asked Mr. Ward to step out. He brings his phone out. He asks if he's being detained. I tell him he's being detained. Tell him the phone is not coming with him. He can leave it on record. It's not coming with him though. He tells me it's his phone. He's bringing it with him. So I take it out of his hand, told him he's being detained, and set it on the toolbox of the truck. Never turned it off. Left it on record, set it, I believe it was face down. I can't remember, but I believe it was face down on the toolbox of the truck. Left on record the entire time we were dealing with him. Got him detained. He was confrontational. Began saying that this was harassment. Told him why we had stopped him, or why we were detaining him. Again, the reason for the stop, he stated it was harassment because he had a lawsuit against, in his words, the entire fucking Jackson County. So, told him I had no idea about the lawsuit, didn't care, he was being detained. We detained him, put him in the car, go around. At that time, I'm sorry, let me back up. He did give me his address so I could verify which Roger D. Ward at that time I was dealing with. We detained him. I go to get the female passenger, who's his wife, out of the vehicle. She's instantly confrontational, tells me she's bringing her cigarettes. She's smoking a cigarette standing right there while I'm going to search the vehicle. I told her nope, she was going to be detained. Put the cigarettes back. She tells me no, it's illegal. I take the cigarettes, throw them in the seat of the truck. Tell her to turn around, put her hands behind her back, and she refuses. We go back and forth with the whole, this is harassment, you know who we are, we're going to sue you. I tell her 4 or 5 times, put her hands behind her back. Finally, I told her this is her last chance, put her hands behind her back, or I'm going to have to put hands on her. She puts her hands behind her back, asks if it's all being recorded. I stated it was. All of our body cams were activated. And she puts her hands behind her back, starts pulling her hands away as I'm trying to handcuff her, tells me, "Oh, you want to get rough with me?" So I stated she was the one moving, and finally got her cuffed. We detained her, put her in the back of the car. Deputy Sizemore conducted the search of the vehicle while I was figuring out if Mr. Ward had a valid driver's license, which he did not. There was some confusion between me and dispatch. That's why the fictitious plates and the driving under suspension was first issued. They had sent the wrong return for my previous traffic stop to that report. So I didn't realize it while I was writing the citations. Realized it when I was doing the report the next morning, and that's when I called. I believe I called you to tell you that there was a mistake on the citations. I was going to reissue the citations with the 3 correct ORCs, and then we would just we decided to re-cite him here at court at that time. After we were finished with the search and citations, we released the female back to the car. They did have their daughter with them. They had her recording the entire time too, while she was standing in front of my cruiser with the troopers. Once we finished with the stop, we got her out of the car, uncuffed her, had her sit back in the vehicle, and then I went around to the passenger side of my vehicle to issue Mr. Ward his citations. Or, I'm sorry, Deputy Sizemore's vehicle, I believe. He was in one of our vehicles. Issued his citation. We had just cordial conversation. He was cooperative at that time. Told him, hey, no hard feelings. I'm doing my job. He agreed I had a job to do. We gave him a citation, and he was on his way.
So just for clarification purposes, Jason, you said that the original citations that you wrote were a confusion on behalf of dispatch, correct?
Correct.
And that you had spoken with me regarding refiling those and submitting them after you discovered the issues.
Correct.
And he was served with the new copies of his citations at his arraignment, correct?
Correct.
And just for purposes of jurisdiction, where did this event take place?
It took place on State Route 32 near Burlington Road in Jackson County.
And can I identify the individual that you came in contact with on September 9th in the courtroom today?
Correct. It's the defendant sitting at the table.
Your Honor, the state would like the court to take judicial notice of the fact that the officer did, in fact, identify the defendant, Mr. Ward, in the courtroom today.
You may question. Mr. Ward, you may question the witness.
Mr. Wilson, do you remember in your academy that did they teach you about writing reports?
Yes.
Did they teach you that they were supposed to be accurate,
Yes.
complete,
Yes.
and truthful?
Yes.
I would also like to say that the first citation is not in his discovery. The one that he wrote, I just like to note that for the record, it's not in the discovery.
For some reason why.
Your Honor, both of those citations are in the discovery packet that was given to him. I have the original citation that I was provided, as well as the new copies of the citations that are also printed in his discovery for him.
I'm sorry, I couldn't tell from what you just said. Is the original there?
Yes, the original is, and then the amended as well.
Are you saying it's not there?
2307, I think it's 2307, I didn't see him here, just
Are you going to look at it again? Make sure, I'll make sure you have what you need.
There's several copies of the 2308.
Well, let me ask the prosecutor, what are you looking to do? Let me ask the prosecutor. 2307, 2308, were there, I was looking at, and I've been provided, I guess by the clerk's office, some paper copies, hard copies as they're often referred to. My understanding, the court here has electronic filing system, and it's paperless, I guess is the word we use now. And I have two documents here. I believe, though, that these probably were attached to the defendant's filing, but they probably are similar to the ones that the clerk gave me. One has a section numbers 4510.12A1 and 4513.14, and the second ticket, copy of the ticket, has 4507.35. Now, those are two separate tickets, are they not?
I believe they are, yes.
Okay, so they would have two separate ticket numbers, is that right?
That's from my understanding, yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I have four copies here. They're all on ticket number 2308.
Okay, well, where are you getting the number 2308?
It's up in the top left corner where it says ticket number. This is 2309. This one here does.
Okay, all right.
So these here are also different tickets than what was actually provided in the first arraignment.
Well, and that's what I have, that's what was attached, I think, to your filing, I believe, is where they came from, 2308 and 2309.
07.
You attached 07?
Yes.
I don't see that.
It's Exhibit A.
Okay. Well, I don't have, when you file something here, my understanding it's scanned and goes electronically, and I'm not sure, I was given 2308 to 2309 is what I have here in the physical paper copies, 2308 to 2309. You're saying that there is a 2307?
Correct.
And was there another one too?
2307, 2308 is the only one that I've seen so far until today. I've seen 2309.
2307 that they scanned in.
Well, it says 2308.
Yes, this is 2307 what they scanned in on the docket.
Okay, so your Exhibit A, Mr. Ward's Exhibit A is 2307,
Yes.
and then, can I?
You can scan and your little wheel there on the top of your, and you can move.
Okay. Well, that just moves up and down on the
Yeah,
same
but
line.
I'm gonna show you. I have some more in here that
Is
really
it a
have
B?
scanned them in. See down here, the bottom down here on the docket,
Yeah.
down in there. See, they have scanned Exhibit A, B, and you can move your wheel up and down on that. See.
All right, so B, it's blurry. You read that? This looks
2308.
blurry on here. Is that 2308?
That one's 2308. Exhibit B is.
Your Honor.
So, I'm sorry, it looks like maybe 2307. 2308 apparently was unchanged. Is that right?
I believe so, yes, Your Honor. I believe that the 2307 was the original charge that was filed. That was the driving under suspension that was given to Sergeant Wilson through the dispatch.
All right. Well, anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I've got a few questions too after you're done, but go ahead with your question.
So this is another amended complaint that I got just today, the 2309. Because I have never seen this until just now.
No, Your Honor, those were given to him on the date of his arraignment. Both the 2308 and the 2309 were handed to him on the day of his arraignment.
If I watch the video, Your Honor, they was not, they didn't hand me nothing. Except for the one ticket she printed off was 2308, and that was supposed to be the amended one, and I said I just received it out there, and then they gave me another copy here.
Who gave it to you?
I got it at the window that, when I come in for 2307, that's what I originally came to court for. And then I went up to the window and they gave me a copy of 2308, which was a new ticket. And then I come here and I spoke on that problem that I just received that day. And then they printed that same ticket, 2308, off for me. So 2309 is what I just now received.
Do you have copies, Ms. Waddell, of 2307, 2308, and 2309?
I have copies of 2308 and 2309 that were provided to me in discovery, Your Honor, from the SO, from the Sheriff's Office. I do not have a copy of the 2307, but I can, in fact, if I need to, we can get a copy of that as soon as possible.
To give me the full picture, I think I have to see what this defendant was served with at the scene, and then what was done thereafter.
Absolutely. We will make sure to notate that and get you a copy as soon as possible, Your Honor.
Okay. You want to take a minute to do that now?
Absolutely.
All right.
We can get it up.
Let's go through it for a moment.
Your Honor, if I may approach.
Yes.
Your legal of 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Could we have the officer then identify these? So what my intent was is that these be used as exhibits.
Yes, Your Honor.
Motion.
Excuse me, if you may, what is this? What copy?
That's exhibit 1.
That's exhibit 1, yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, this is the original citation of the mistake of driving under suspension.
And then, Jason, if you can for me, what is exhibit 2?
Exhibit 2 are the 2 amended citations with the headlight violation, the failure to provide driver's license, and the driving style license.
And those are the amended ones?
Yes.
And were those ones that were handed to Mr. Ward on the day of his arraignment?
Yes.
Okay. And then, just for purposes, what is exhibit 3?
Exhibit 3 is the amended citation for the no driver's license and headlights, and the failure to provide a license.
And that's just another copy for exhibit 4?
Yes, that is also the failure to provide driver's license.
Okay. And these copies were provided to the prosecutor's office for discovery purposes, correct?
Correct.
Can I get a copy of that?
Yes.
Like I said, I just have this one ticket on there.
I tell you one thing, I don't like things paper clipped. If they need to be as one thing, they probably should be stapled or something. Paper clips tend to come out and then they fit the two-card pickup.
Yes, Your Honor.
While we're waiting on those copies to be made, maybe, I don't know if there's other questions that you have. I'm a little curious about why we have 4 papers if we only have 3 tickets. 4 exhibits, but only 3 tickets. Is that what you're correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe one of them, if I get my copies back, I can probably explain that to you. I approach. Exhibit 1 is of the 2307 that was originally filed. That was the DUS ticket and the, I believe it was the fictitious registration. Oh, the headlights, I'm sorry. Then, exhibit 2 is the amended complaints that were given to Mr. Ward on the date of his arraignment, which are 208. And then this is also 209, which is also exhibit 2.
You need to, well, I can't,
Oh, I'm sorry. So
why do we have 2 exhibit 2?
the exhibit 2s are the amended complaints that were given to Mr. Ward on the date of his arraignment.
Okay.
So those are the same, it's from the same incident, but that was the date of his arraignment.
Well, but for purposes of our hearing here,
I can
we
change
probably
it.
should have them different numbers
Okay.
for exhibits.
Absolutely.
But you're saying and probably the officer should tell us this, but you're saying exhibit 1 was given to him at the scene,
That's correct.
and that's all that was given to him at the scene?
Yes.
Okay. And then these that are going to be given 2 and 3 maybe,
Yes,
you're saying were given to him later?
that's correct.
Okay. Now, do we need a 4? I mean, what's 4?
I believe 4 was one that was filed with the court originally. This was filed on the September 11th, which was the date.
Is it a copy of 1? I mean,
I understand, Your Honor. There are a lot of moving parts to this, so.
yeah, and I'm not sure I understand them, or maybe you do, but I'm not sure.
Your Honor, if I may, I'll have Sergeant Wilson.
Yeah, and let's refer to exhibit numbers so
Yes.
that the record's clear on what we did.
All right, Jason, what is Exhibit 1?
Exhibit 1 is the original citation that was issued at the scene for driving under suspension and headlight violation.
What is Exhibit 2?
Exhibit 2 is the amended for the not providing a valid driver's license.
And then what is Exhibit 3?
Exhibit 3 is the another amended citation for the headlight violation and driving without a license.
Okay, so you have 2 separate citations for that.
Correct.
What is Exhibit 4?
Exhibit 4 is just a copy of the driving under suspension. No, I'm sorry. The driving without a license and the headlight violation.
So just for clarification, Exhibit 4 is what?
Just a copy of the amended citations.
The amended citations that were provided to?
The court, but to the prosecutor's office.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then Exhibit 5?
Exhibit 5 is another copy that was presented to the prosecutor's office
Okay,
of the amended citation.
of the amended citation.
No, we don't have exhibit 5.
Well, do we need 4 and 5?
Not necessarily, Your Honor, I just
No, I
wanted to.
mean, if the ticket, if 3 and 4, if 2 and 3 are the amended, and all these tickets were filed with the clerk, then I'm just wondering what 4 and 5 even adds to this.
The 4 and 5 I just added just so we had a record of when they were given to the prosecutor's office, but if we do not need a 4 and 5, I can put them back over here as well too.
Well, why would it be relevant? I mean, if there's relevance to it, I don't have a problem, but why is it relevant to when he gave these to you?
And then if not, Your Honor, then I'll leave that.
Unless it has to do with the discovery or something. Have you given all these to
Yes, I gave this to him in discovery.
the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. So you have exhibits 1, 2, and 3. Now, did you have other questions of the law?
Not at this time, Your
All
Honor.
right, you may continue to resume your cross-examination.
Mr. Wilson, are you familiar with the Real ID Act?
The what?
The Real ID Act that went into effect, May 3rd, 2023?
No.
Okay, basically, it's unless you have a passport and then you can't even apply in the United States. So it's a federal government ID is what they prefer. Did I give you a federal government ID that night?
You did it on a driver's license.
Okay. But that's a yes, right, sir?
Yes.
I gave you a
You
federal
didn't.
government ID.
You did not provide me with what I asked for.
That wasn't the question here, sir. Did I give you a federal government ID that night?
You gave me a U.S. government passport.
Which is federal government ID, right?
I cannot answer that.
Did you run that ID that night?
I ran the name and date of birth that was on the ID.
So you didn't check to see if it was active armed forces or anything?
How would I do that?
Okay, are you aware of the exemptions in the statute of no operator's license?
The exemptions,
Yeah.
go ahead and fill me in on that.
Well, if active member of armed forces don't need a license.
In the state of Ohio, you have to have a driver's license to operate a motor vehicle. Go ahead.
Well, the actual statute that you used is where I got the information.
Okay.
And it says right in the exemptions of that statute, no operator's license.
Did you provide me with, a member of the armed forces?
I think. I gave you a federally government ID, did I not?
You gave me a U.S. passport.
Okay. Which is a federal government ID, is that not correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The exemptions, which is in the statute of the no operator's license, is 4507.3. And specifically, it says, every person on active duty in the armed forces of the United States or service of the Peace Corps, volunteer, or service of America in the foreign service of the United States is exempt from license requirement of those chapters for the period of the person's active duty service or for 6 months thereafter. Was you aware of that, sir?
But
All right, let's go to, the ticket number 2307. That was the first citation, is that correct, that you wrote me and gave me that night?
correct.
Okay. And you said that this is, it says I was in a 2005 GMC white pickup?
Like I explained before,
So that's it, correct?
that was a mistake
Okay.
provided by my dispatch. That's why this citation was reissued to you.
Okay. Did you sign this citation, sir?
I did.
I don't see
It's
it.
electronic.
Electronic? What's
At
that?
the bottom where it says served, it says Sergeant J. Wilson. Yes.
Well, my name's printed on it too, and I didn't sign it. That's why I'm asking, did you sign it?
That is how we sign our citations. They're electronic.
So does that mean I signed it too? With my name on it printed?
Does it say signature where your name is printed on it?
Well, it don't say, it don't have no signature at all, where it says signature.
Does it say signature provided where it says,
Okay, I'll let you take a look. Can I press John?
Yes.
Right here. There's no signature at all, where it says signature.
and does it say signature here?
Well, it says my name here.
Right, but does it say signature here? I mean, if you want to get technical, does that say signature of complaining
Sergeant
officer?
Wilson, right?
It says Sergeant Wilson. It says charging law enforcement officer. Does it say signature of charging law enforcement officer?
Correct. So there's no
Correct.
signature on this thing, correct?
Does it have to be
Sergeant
signed?
Wilson, officer,
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
No signature,
Correct.
correct? I'd also like to say, you say this was, an amended complaint on exhibit B, or exhibit 2? I think that's what it is. The ticket number 2308, you say that was the amended complaint?
That was one of the amended complaints.
So you changed the details of the vehicle, correct?
I put the correct vehicle in and the correct charges.
Okay, and let me back up a minute. On the first citation, you had driving under suspension, correct?
Yes.
Different license plate too, correct?
Yes.
And, the second citation is not signed either, correct? No signature?
Again, there is no signature box. It just says charging law enforcement officer.
Okay. So, exhibit, let me get to see if I can get this right. Exhibit, the second one, or ticket number 2308 was the second one that you wrote out, right?
That is one of the two.
That was one of the two?
Yes. There's two because there was not enough boxes for other.
But the one you gave me was 2307, correct?
Originally at the scene was 2307.
When did you amend the complaint to
The
2308?
next morning.
The next morning?
Yes.
Can I bring your attention to, can you tell me when the timestamp is on exhibit 1? When it was issued?
When it was issued,
Yeah.
9/9/2023, the complaint is when the
What the time stamp on it, sir?
9:58 PM.
Okay. Thank you. Now, on the amended complaint, the amended ticket, you just said you did the next morning, correct?
Yes.
Which would be 2308. Is that right?
2308 and 2309.
Yeah, let's see. Can you tell me the timestamp on that, sir?
This is 9:34, so this is all electronically done. When
So this was written second, but the time was before the first original ticket?
Okay, so we have what's called a CAD system, okay? Computer aided dispatch. So all of that stuff automatically pulls when I import the incident. Okay,
Which was at 9:58 PM, right?
correct, so 9:34, 9:58, I would have to go back on the incident and look.
So what you're telling me is you have two separate vehicles within 20 minutes apart at two different locations, and you're saying that I was driving both of them, correct?
Can I see a copy of my report?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you said that you had,
He's questioning, you'll be allowed to show him the report and ask
Yes,
him
sir.
on redirect, but go ahead with your question.
so I mean, is that correct? Two different vehicles, two different locations at 20 minutes apart?
Let me ask you, Mr. Ward, do you have a problem with him looking at his report?
No, nothing, he can, right.
Can I copy your report? If I may, if I may.
Get the citations. Did I see it?
What did you write that report? Don't mind me asking.
It's right there on it. September 10th, 2023 at 12:52 PM.
12:52 PM,
Yes, that's when I wrote the report.
September 23rd,
September 10th,
September 10th.
2023 at 12:52 PM.
12:52 PM, okay.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I see. So on the second citation, on exhibit 3,
What ticket number, sir?
exhibit 3,
Please. You got my, please, okay?
2308.
Okay.
Here's your exhibit if you want to look. So the CAD system will only let me produce one citation at a time. So when I went back to write your second citation, it pulled, or your first citation, it pulled the wrong location. It pulled State Route 32 at State Route 93,
Correct.
which is where I initially observed you. The actual traffic stop was State Route Burlington Road at State Route 93. Okay, so same vehicle, same thing, but it pulled two different times.
So the computer will generate tickets prior to the one that was written before at a different timestamp?
No, that is not what I said.
Well, the first citation, sir, was, computer 7 was written at 9:58. And the computer wrote, is that what you're saying?
It pulled the wrong incident for the second. My fault. I did not realize that
So
it
the
was
incident happened at 9:58?
9:58.
So the first citation is accurate, correct?
Hold on. 9:34 is the first.
That's the second.
It's the first, right?
That's 2308, sir.
Okay.
Is it not?
Listen.
Is it not?
Your Honor, I'm going to object.
I mean, the numbers don't lie, 2308, it's 934, 2307.
You asked me when the original stop was. I'm telling you 2134, that is the original stop.
934?
934, 2134, 25.
So you still have me stopped at 958?
Yes,
And then you wrote the wrong ticket?
wrote the wrong ticket.
You wrote it for a white GMC?
I've already answered that question.
I don't think
As
you
to
have.
what,
I'm just trying to understand.
as to what happened.
It's not mathematically numbers.
Can I answer?
Pardon me?
Can I answer?
Sure.
Okay. So, the time of stop was 934. When I wrote the citation, it was 958. Okay? I was given the wrong, they input the wrong vehicle and into the system, into my report. Okay? I did not catch that. Also, that's why I believe the tags were fictitious after I looked. Okay? It also pulled you as being suspended because they put the wrong information in. Again, I did not catch that. I caught it after I cleared the scene, after I cleared the stop. I reissued the citations the next morning. Okay? The next morning when I reissued the citations, it pulled 934, which was my time of stop. And then for the second one, for some reason, it pulled 958, which is when I actually printed your citation.
So how, this computer did that on its own?
Yes.
So you say you make all these errors, I mean, basically, could the computer or whoever you say you run through made an error? Maybe make an error, who was pulled over or who even had a license at all?
Because I'm human and I know who you
You
are.
said you run through somebody, feeds or whatever?
Yes, sir.
And the computer done the timestamp and all that, correct? You said you didn't catch the error.
I didn't.
From somebody.
Correct.
Who was that from?
My dispatch.
So could your dispatch error on the rest of it?
No. Because I pulled you on my computer after you gave me your license, or your, not license, but your name, date of birth, and address. I was able to verify I had the right person. When I pulled the information for the citation, I did not realize that they had input the traffic stop from the last traffic stop I made before you. They pulled that information into that report. Okay? Plus your information.
So didn't you say 3 Roger Woods come up?
Yeah.
So how did you have the right one?
When you gave me your address.
Was there tags come back to Roger Woods?
Yeah, Roger A. Ward, I believe. Your father?
No, that's not my phone.
Well, your wife stated it was.
My father's name is Roger Elwood.
Okay, Roger L. Ward, I'm sorry. Roger L.
So, you changed the first, amended complaint from driving under suspension to no operator's license, correct?
Correct.
Did you do that, or did the prosecutor?
I did that.
You did that.
Yeah, the prosecutor didn't tell me who to charge or what to charge.
But you didn't understand the no operator's license exemption, right?
Again,
But we're not, this isn't a trial, this is a motion hearing, so that is not.
I still don't understand, it's, it's almost impossible for it to rejuvenate a ticket that you wrote afterwards for a prior timestamp. I don't understand how that works. But I'll go on. So you're the one that changed the charges, is that what I think I answered that, or asked that, is that correct?
I've answered that, yes.
That's all, Your Honor, for now. Thank you.
You may redirect.
Jason, did the defendant ever tell you or indicate in any way that he was a member of the armed forces?
No, he did not.
So no indication whatsoever of that.
Nope.
So you had no, even after reviewing, looking into your system through leads, no indication whatsoever that the defendant was a member of the armed forces?
Correct.
And then just for the signature policy that you have in place for your tickets, is it required that you have a signed signature, or is it just a computer-generated signature?
Computer-generated signature.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any further?
Yeah. as far as the armed forces active duty, did you ask?
No.
Okay. Also, can the computer generate the signature?
It prints my name.
It obviously, it prints the timestamp too, correct?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Let me have this. Also, the Exhibit 1, which you indicated is the original ticket.
Yes, Your Honor.
How is that ticket written? Tell me the process. You're at the scene.
Right. We're at the scene. All the information is brought up on our computer in our car.
You see it on the screen.
You see it on the screen.
Okay.
Yes. You drag and drop
Okay.
and import the incident. So when you import the incident, it pulls your location and the times. You drag the vehicle information, driver information over, and then you physically import the citation or the offenses.
And then it's printed?
And then it's printed, yes.
And then you give it to,
The suspect.
okay, and is that what you did
That
on this
is,
occasion?
yes, sir.
The question was asked, and I thought I understood it, and I'm not sure I do. If this printing that is apparently, since 1958, are you saying that it was the time that you printed it, or that you dragged it and dropped it, or as you put it?
So the original time to stop, when you import the incident, it should pull your time to stop.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'd have to look at the report again, but the times on there, it'll have my time to stop, it'll have time of clearance, time of arrival. So it's pulled one of the other times for the time of.
Is somebody entering that someplace?
No, so my dispatcher enters my location, time of stop.
Okay.
As soon as they click, I'll mark up on the radio, say I'll be out on traffic stop. They enter my location and traffic stop. It generates the time, generates my GPS coordinates.
But if you indicate a stop, I'm trying to get a reasoning here or a way this can happen. If you stop someone and there's a time of stop, but you're saying the dispatcher must physically enter that time of stop on something for that to print out on this.
Right. So the times they do not. It automatically timestamps that. When they create the report, it sends it to my computer in my car, and it generates the time. They put in the location.
Okay.
So they're putting in the location, and then we have to click like arrived, which on traffic stops, they would click arrived. They would click dispatch, arrived. So those times on there, and then clearance, there's other ones too. I'd have to look at all of them.
Is that something then the dispatcher can make a mistake with?
Possibly, yes. I mean, if they didn't click that when I initiated the stop, if they just put dispatched and didn't click arrived, because it gets hectic in there at times. So when they clicked arrived, they may have clicked me arrived at 9:58.
Well, and and they also this other information that's entered by the dispatcher about what vehicle it is.
Okay. So we run the tags through dispatch. We can also run them in our car. What happens? Dispatch adds the vehicle. When they run it, they click add to incident. It adds it to the incident. They click on the wrong vehicle. My traffic stop from before and added it to that report.
So this comes to a screen.
Right.
And let's be straightforward with it. Your responsibility there is to read the screen, make sure it's accurate, and then press it.
Correct.
But in this case, you made a mistake.
So in that case, I thought the tags were fictitious.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was my mistake. He wouldn't provide any information, so I didn't have anything else to go on.
So you wrote two new tickets.
Correct.
2 and 3.
Yes.
Exhibits 2 and 3.
Yes.
Mr. Ward refers to the ticket numbers, so it's 2309 and 2308. Those were written later.
Correct.
Okay. The next morning.
Next morning, later, yes.
And the information that goes on those, did you enter that yourself? With respect to the vehicle and the time of stop?
No. So I added from incident, just like we would in our cruiser. click import incident, it pulls my times and my location. I can go back on that and do that. I had to go back and pull the right vehicle information. That way I had the correct vehicle. Because I did realize the mistake after that the tags weren't fictitious. The tag that they entered into the system was a mistake.
Okay. So was Exhibit 1 the ticket filed with the clerk here at this court?
Originally.
Originally it was filed. It was filed the next
Should have
morning?
been, I don't know if it was ever filed. I can't answer that because I don't remember. It should have been filed, but I don't remember if it was. Because we were going to dismiss it.
Check that. That would be ticket 2307.
I believe I had it because I think Jess had me over there the next day.
We don't see 2307 on the document, so it's apparently not filed. But 238 and 2309
Were filed, yes.
were they filed the next morning?
They would have been filed, so it was a weekend, so Monday.
Okay, so rather than be filed
So they would have all went over the same day.
We have a time stamp up here.
what's it?
There's when they find the time stamp up there.
Oh, okay.
When it
Yeah, I
comes
see
to
it.
us,
Yeah.
that's when the time stamp.
So 9/11, they filed on 9/11, the incident occurred on 9/9.
Right.
9/9 is.
On a Saturday.
Okay, all right. So we filed on 9/11, directing the defendant here to appear on 9/21. But they weren't served on it. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, so they, to the best of your knowledge, they were given to him how? Did you give them to him at some point?
So he was served with the original, with the same,
At
with the same
the
court date,
okay.
yes.
Which
At
had
the
the
same-
same court date.
Had the same court date, yes.
So, do you have personal knowledge of when, if ever, tickets 2 and 3 were served on?
When I,
Or exhibits 2 and 3?
yeah, on the date of his arraignment, at 21st, when I come to court, I went into the court clerk's office, was getting ready to serve him. I had actually copies with me. They said, we just served him his copies at the window,
When you say we,
the clerks.
so the clerk gave him copies from the court file, or you gave him the copies that you had? Or?
From the court file.
Okay, so the clerk gave them to you.
Correct.
All right, now, did you have other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have other questions of him? Mr. Wood?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So you can say, is the state asking the exhibits 1, 2, and 3 to be admitted?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to 1, 2, and 3? Exhibits 1, 2, and 3, if all plaintiffs' exhibits 1, 2, and 3 will be admitted without objection. Does the state have anything further to present today?
No, that's it, Your Honor.
You wish to make an argument?
Yes.
Okay.
In essence, the judicial system revolves around the principle of fairness, sanctity of due process, and the paramount importance of truth. With that framework in mind, I'd like to draw the court's attention to the inconsistencies rife within citations ticket number 2307, 2308, and now ticket number 2309, which I believe compromise the very tenets our system holds dear. First and foremost is the blatant evidence of fabrication of ticket number 2307, which I have attached as Exhibit A, was an evidence
Oh, wait, just, I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
attached as Exhibit A was written before ticket number 2308. Yet curiously, the timestamp of 2307 reads 9:58 p.m., while the alleged later ticket 2308 is Exhibit B bears a timestamp of 9:34. The temporal anomaly, beyond being a mere oversight, strongly suggests an intention to manipulate or even fabricate evidence. such conduct, if intentional, critically jeopardizes the integrity of the case. The case of Giglio versus United States, 1972, expressly held that deliberate concealment or fabrication of evidence directly infringes upon the due process rights of the accused. Like the undisputed promises in Giglio, that tainted the process's integrity. The questionable handling of these tickets does much the same. The temporal discrepancy between the tickets isn't just a clerical error. It's a substantive inconsistency that affects the right to fair trial. As Ohio Criminal Rule 7C dictates, it should be provided with a clear, concise statement of the nature of the offense to prepare a defense adequately. The core of the argument, Your Honor, is the violation of my due process rights due to these inconsistencies and the suspicious manner of the ticket issuances. I wasn't given proper notice of ticket 2308 until I appeared in court for 2307. And in the case of Brady versus Maryland, 1963, though centers around the prosecution's duty to disclose exculpatory evidence, broadly emphasizes the justice requires fairness and authenticity in our evidentiary process. And also, with what he said on the stand, he basically said they was going to dismiss that because they realized that their error was a mistake. And just in light of the issues, I'd like to ask the court to strike ticket number 2308. I'd also like to talk about the signature. I base my claim on Ohio Criminal Rule Procedure 3A, which clearly stipulates that filed criminal complaints must be in writing and crucially signed by the complainant. Without this foundational signature, ticket number 23A simply cannot stand as a valid complaint. Furthermore, the equally important is the procedural necessity set forth in Ohio Criminal Rule 7B, which stipulates that the information shall be signed by a prosecuting attorney or in the name of the prosecuting attorney, by an assistant prosecuting attorney, or shall contain a statement that the defendant has committed a public offense specific in the information. So with that being said, there's no signature on anything. So therefore, I'd like to strike. Same reason to strike. And on the rest of it, I'll just let my motion stand as they are.
You have to stay.
Yes, Your Honor, just a few points. As indicated by Sergeant Wilson, under these circumstances, I know the defense has raised an issue of fabrication. As Sergeant Wilson has stated, this was a mistake, and that was later corrected by Sergeant Wilson and also provided to the defendant on a later date for his arraignment. Further, this is a traffic matter. This is not a criminal matter as such for those purposes. And Sergeant Wilson also testified to the fact that per their policies and procedures, a signature is not required. It is just that it be a printed ticket. So for those reasons, we're going to request that these motions to strike be vacated.
All right.
Your Honor, I'd like to also add that at the arraignment, I specifically asked about the jurisdiction because I was unaware of what rules we were going to apply. And then, they basically said the criminal rules, so that's what I based my argument on. And I'd also like to also add that Rule 7D also states that they can amend a complaint and an indictment more information as long as provided no change is made in the name of the identity of the crime charged. They don't only change it from the U.S., but change it to a bunch of different other ones. I'd just like to note that for the record.
Yeah, let me say first of all, that what I want to say is that the defendant hasn't waived any of his arguments. I think I either been not guilty plea for him with arraignment, but he did raise the issues, some of them at least at arraignment, and I find he hasn't waived any of his arguments, so I will consider all his arguments. Here's one concern the court has, and I'm going to reserve judgment on this and give everybody, I'm going to say 7 days from today to file something if they wish to on this issue. I think that the traffic rules, and Mr. Ward, you cited the criminal rules, and some of them apply and some of them don't. this is a traffic case, and the traffic rules really apply here, but sometimes they make reference to the criminal rules. But the criminal rules have language, or the traffic rules, have language in them that seem to contemplate the necessity at times to amend a ticket, or to rewrite a ticket, or to file a new ticket. There's language to that effect. But when that happens, the ticket is to be served upon the defendant as soon as possible. That's what it says. Now, and it says if the officer is unable to serve a copy of the completed ticket on the defendant, it may be served by another law enforcement officer of the law enforcement agency issuing the ticket, or filed with the clerk of the court for issuance of a warrant or summons pursuant to Criminal Rule 4. And it says that, and so Criminal Rule 4 provides a way of serving a summons, but there's no evidence that a summons issued in this case. And so, a clerk can serve a summons under the criminal rules, but you only get to the criminal rules if the officer is unable to serve a copy of the completed ticket on the defendant. So, and it mentions in the Traffic Rules Commission's commentary that, for example, a hit skip case would be one where the officer, there would be no defendant there to serve. And also, I would imagine, too, that where a defendant resides, it says outside the jurisdiction, or where I suppose a defendant's address is not known or something of that nature. But in this case, the officer testified the defendant did give him an address. There's no evidence that any effort was made to serve the defendant prior to the arraignment date, which was, I believe, something like 10 days later or something, wasn't it? 9/21, and the citation was for 9/09, so about 12 days later. So I'm curious what effect that has on this, the fact that it wasn't these amended tickets. I don't have a problem with the officer amending the ticket. If the ticket's written wrong and it's discovered, then I think there would be a duty to do something else, and so rewriting the ticket would be something he should do. But we get into the situation about then, should it not have been served by the clerk and when it was filed, as opposed to waiting 9 days or 10 days until the defendant showed up and then giving him a copy there. And could the clerk even serve a ticket? My understanding is it was the tickets that were given to him, not a summons, but a ticket by the clerk. And I think that the traffic rules contemplate a ticket being personally served by the issuing officer if it can be. And I would say even if it was later, I don't think that necessarily removes the obligation to try to serve an amended ticket. Anyway, those are the issues I had. Whether the service was correct and timely in this case upon the defendant. And Mr. Ward, that's what I want addressed. Your other arguments, you preserved those, but those, some of those are trial issues, whether or not you fit an exemption for carrying a driver's license or not, and those kind of things are really something that would be a trial issue. But the issue of the, I don't have a problem with the amending of the ticket. The filing the amended tickets should be done, was done, but whether they were timely served and correctly served by clerk on this defendant, when I don't think any regular criminal summons was issued. So is that correct? And I'm going to require simultaneous briefs on that issue on or before, what are we, this is the 11th, so I would say, on or before, this is the 11th, isn't it? On or before the 18th of October at 4 o'clock. And then I will issue a decision.
You want me to submit a brief? You want me to submit a brief also?
Yes, yeah,
For the 18th?
simultaneous briefs, I mean, everybody submit on or before October 18th at 4 o'clock. Is there anything further before we adjourn for today?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything further?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.